The age of acceleration. Why the next decade could be the best in human history. The future is arriving faster than we can process it. Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and clean energy are advancing at a pace that feels almost unreal. Every week, a new breakthrough appears, a disease cured, a rocket reused, a discovery made by a machine. For some, this speed feels overwhelming. But maybe, just maybe, it's the greatest sign of hope we've ever had. We are living in the age of acceleration, a time when progress moves faster than fear, and possibility expands every single day. 1. A world moving faster than ever. If you feel like the world is changing too fast, you're right. The rate of technological progress today is beyond anything humans have ever experienced. Ray Kurzweil, one of the world's leading futurists, calls it the law of accelerating returns, the idea that each innovation builds on the last, causing progress to double again and again. It once took humanity thousands of years to invent the wheel, writing, and agriculture. Then, in a few centuries, we had electricity, flight, and the internet. And now, within just a few decades, we've built AI systems that can write, design, and create alongside us. Think about it. ChatGPT didn't exist 3 years ago, and now it's reshaping education, business, and creativity. SpaceX went from struggling rocket tests to reusable spacecraft that can land themselves. The cost of DNA sequencing dropped from billions of dollars to less than a cup of coffee. As author Steven Pinker points out in Enlightenment Now, progress has always been misunderstood. People assume the world is getting worse, when in reality, by almost every measurable standard, life is improving. Fewer people live in poverty, more children survive childhood, and diseases that once defined generations are being erased. Yes, the world feels chaotic, but underneath that noise, we are living through the fastest rise in collective progress the world has ever known. And what's coming next might make the 20th century look slow. The engines of acceleration. So what's driving this explosion of progress? It's not one invention. It's the way multiple forces are converging. The first engine is artificial intelligence. AI isn't just generating text or images, it's solving real problems that humans struggled with for decades. DeepMind's AlphaFold, for example, solved a 50-year scientific puzzle, predicting how proteins fold, unlocking discoveries for new drugs and treatments in record time. In medicine, AI is helping detect cancer years earlier than traditional methods. In climate science, it's modeling weather patterns to help prevent disasters. And in creativity, it's becoming a co-pilot for human imagination, not replacing it, but expanding it. Then there's biotechnology. The gene editing tool CRISPR allows scientists to cut and repair DNA with precision, opening doors to curing genetic diseases once thought permanent. In China and the US, trials are underway using CRISPR to treat conditions like sickle cell anemia and blindness. Energy is accelerating too. Fusion, the process that powers the sun, has finally produced more energy than it consumes in experimental reactors. Companies like Helion and Commonwealth Fusion Systems are racing to make fusion power a reality by the 2030s. And in space, SpaceX and Blue Origin have turned science fiction into logistics. Reusable rockets, once a fantasy, are now routine. Mars no longer feels like another planet, it feels like a destination. As author Kevin Kelly wrote in The Inevitable, technology has a direction. It always moves toward greater possibilities, greater connection, and greater intelligence. These aren't isolated advances, they're multiplying one another. AI is accelerating biotech. Biotech is accelerating energy. Energy is accelerating everything. The engines of acceleration are no longer just inventions. They're ecosystems, feeding off each other, driving humanity forward. 3. Solving what once seemed impossible. Throughout history, every era had its unsolvable problems. Today, those problems are being challenged, not by luck, but by innovation. Take climate change. For decades, it felt unstoppable. But in the past 5 years, the cost of solar and wind energy has fallen below fossil fuels in most parts of the world. Fusion, once a distant dream, is on the verge of becoming reality. AI is now used to optimize energy grids and design better batteries, turning sustainability into a question of when, not if. Medicine tells a similar story. AI systems can now detect breast cancer up to 30% earlier than human doctors. New drugs, discovered by machine learning models, are entering clinical trials faster than ever. In 2023, scientists in Japan used stem cell technology to partially restore vision in blind patients, something that would have sounded impossible a decade ago. And then there's global poverty. According to Hans Rosling, in his book Factfulness, the number of people living in extreme poverty has fallen from 40% in 1980 to under 10% today. Clean water, sanitation, and education have expanded more in the last 50 years than in all of human history combined. The same pattern keeps appearing. What once seemed impossible is now just another milestone. Bill Gates calls this compound progress. Each advancement in medicine, data, or energy compounds the others, pushing society forward faster than we can fully appreciate. We often fear change because we remember its chaos. But beneath the noise, progress is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, making life better. 4. The rise of collective intelligence. The next great force isn't just smarter machines, it's smarter humanity. For the first time in history, billions of people are connected through one global brain, the internet. Ideas, data, and creativity move across borders instantly. And with AI, that collaboration is becoming even more powerful. Think about the COVID-19 vaccines. The first mRNA vaccines were developed in less than a year, an achievement scientists thought would take a decade. This happened because researchers across the world shared data, code, and findings in real time. Platforms like GitHub and Kaggle let millions of developers collaborate on solving global challenges. Wikipedia, one of humanity's greatest collaborative projects, now has over 6 million articles, all created and maintained by volunteers. Even education is transforming. Platforms like Khan Academy and Coursera are bringing world-class learning to anyone with an internet connection. AI tutors now translate lessons into every language, adapting to each student's pace. James Surowiecki described this in The Wisdom of Crowds. When diverse people think together, they outperform even the smartest individual minds. Now, technology has made that collective thinking possible on a global scale. And it's not just about data, it's about empathy. Collaboration connects experiences. When someone in Nairobi solves a problem with clean energy, a student in Stockholm can learn from it instantly. Carl Sagan once said, "We are a way for the universe to know itself." Maybe now, in the age of acceleration, humanity is finally starting to know itself together. 5. A new definition of progress. Progress used to mean faster machines, bigger buildings, and higher profits. But in the next decade, progress may take on a more human form. Automation is already transforming the world of work. AI can now handle repetitive, exhausting tasks, from sorting data to diagnosing diseases, giving humans more space for creativity, empathy, and purpose. Economist Rutger Bregman, in Utopia for Realists, argues that society can, and should, aim higher than survival. We can design systems that give people time to think, create, and connect, not just to work. Several countries have already begun experimenting with universal basic income. Finland's trial showed that people who received unconditional support didn't become lazy. They became happier, healthier, and more entrepreneurial. Maslow's hierarchy of needs doesn't end with survival. It ends with self-actualization. And for the first time in history, technology might make that possible on a global scale. Even in business, the definition of success is shifting. Companies are moving towards sustainability, mental health, and human-centered innovation. Technology leaders like Matt Mullenweg remind us that technology is best when it brings people together. We're beginning to see a new measure of progress. Not how powerful our machines are, but how empowered our people become. 6. The hopeful horizon. It's easy to feel afraid of what's coming. Every new invention sparks fear that machines will replace us, that technology will go too far, that we'll lose what makes us human. But history tells a different story. When humans discovered fire, we feared it would destroy us until we learned to cook, to stay warm, to survive. When electricity arrived, it was called dangerous. Now, it powers everything we love. Every leap forward begins with fear and ends with transformation. As Arthur C. Clarke once said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And we are surrounded by that magic every day, in our phones, our labs, our homes. As Max Tegmark wrote in Life 3.0, the question is not whether AI will shape the future, but whether we will shape it wisely. The next decade will be defined not by fear, but by choice, by how we decide to use these tools. The future isn't something that happens to us, it's something we build. One discovery, one decision, one hopeful step at a time. If this video made you think differently about the world we're creating, share it with someone who still believes the future is something to fear. What gives you hope about the next decade? Let's talk in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring ideas like this, don't forget to subscribe to 10-Minute Minds for more short documentaries on technology, psychology, and the evolution of human thought. See you soon in the next video.